do some pretty decent damage to the Marauders. Although, if you do have a Marauder Marine force, you're going to want to have the Marauders in front of the Marines to soak up some of the damage from those Banelings, because they will just rip apart Marines.
If we see this one Marine is being dragged back by a ball of Marauders, he's being tackled right now. But it looks like, if you look at the unit tab, he's got, Nox has 8 Zerglings and 20 Roaches by now, and RippnTerran only has 1 tank, 8 Marauders, and 5 Marines. So it looks like Nox was able to hold off that push pretty well, and is now able to have a pretty decent force now, 26 Roaches. So
yeah, I'd like to see him send a few Zerglings and maybe scout, because RippnTerran does have an expansion going up. Just kind of send 1 or 2 Zerglings in there, peek in the front, and see if he can see that. It would be really useful information right now.
Now, you should note that he's just getting up his expansion now, and had he got it earlier, when he was first pushing out, now he could have been really macroed up, had a bunch of resources, and been able to produce out of all his buildings, which he's not really doing right now.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely has the resources to do it. He's a little low on gas, so he needs to get both gas up there as the Armory and Starport goes down, so we could be seeing a Thor. It'd be interesting. I always love to see Thor drops. They're very entertaining. Kind of micro-intensive, but, I'd love to see it as centrifugal hooks as well as 10 drones and 2 extractors are going down for Nox there, and I really like that play. Pushing out and producing 10 drones at the same time to get his economy going.
And it looks like all these Roaches coming in here are going to be able to do quite a bit of damage. It's looking pretty grim right now for RippnTerran. He's... oh, well, Nox does decide to pull out. I guess that last tank was able to do a fair amount of damage. Although, I think, he still had a bunch of Roaches at the, about 12 or 13 Roaches against these 2 tanks, pretty much all the units that RippnTerran has left. So I think he probably could have ended the game right there if he continued to push in.
Yeah, I agree, but it looks like he decided to play a little safe, back it up. As he's getting Burrow, and his Spire is about halfway done. So we're probably going to be seeing a tech switch to Mutas. But it does look like a Thor is on the way for RippnTerran, so he should be able to deal with that just fine as the tech lab goes down to the starport. And as always, Planetary Fortress, as I think it's either Day 9 or Husky likes to say, the insta-win building, because with some SCVs on that, it is pretty damn hard to take it down with a ground force.
I mean, it just has so much, so many hit points, 1,500. And he probably should send a couple SCVs to repair that because it has lost, and now he does that right now. You do want that to be at full health, in case another Zergling, Roach, rush comes up this choke. That Planetary Fortress can do a lot of damage, especially, like you said, when you get a bunch of SCVs repairing it from the back.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not like trying to take down a supply depot, although only the same amount of hit points as a normal orbital command. It's just the firepower is what makes it intimidating. Although, I mean, really the force right now, RippnTerran's so low on gas, he can't afford to produce these tank Thors and this Banshee that he just popped out. But it does look like Nox is in pretty good position. He's got more Roaches, more drones, tunneling claws, and Zerg Carapace level 1, as Stim goes down for RippnTerran. I'd be interested to see what's going to happen with the Spire as he starts researching Flyer Attack level 1. So hopefully we'll see some Mutas maybe pop in and harass the back mineral line, although there are 3 missile turrets up, so it looks like RippnTerran would be fine from that.
Yeah, we do see Nox pushing out across the map with his Roach army. Knowing that he was going mainly Roach, maybe RippnTerran should have tried to get out a few more Banshees, because if you get the Banshees out here and you catch these Roaches out of position, they have no anti-air and you can just pick them off. But here he is sneaking up right underneath the feet of these Terran units. And I don't think RippnTerran has anything to detect this with. He has 3 missile turrets down by his main, but I don't know if he's going to be able to see it until it's too late.
Yeah, definitely. As he's throwing on a second starport, the Roaches are just sneaking into his base. When are they going to come in range of a missile turret? I'm not quite sure. They might be able to make it to this SCV line before they're forced to unburrow by that turret.
And I think he can see them now with these missile turrets, so he probably should be paying attention to that and get his SCVs out of there. But these guys are about to pop up and do a lot of damage.
Oh, this is just a fantastic attack. He's expanding as well. Flyer attacks are almost done. 16 drones on the way, and I'm just waiting for these Roaches to pop. And there it is. That is really, I mean, what can you do about that?
And the command center lifts off and is flying away, and they bury again, and he has no detection. So they're going to get a good surround on these Thors, and they're going to be able to pop up. Well, I believe, or they're going for the tanks. I'm not sure what they're going to try to do, but yeah, they do go for the tanks. They focus fire them down, and then they instantly burrow. This is such clever play right now by Nox.
Yeah, it's really great. I like it a lot, especially if he's keeping that command center up in the air. It can't throw down a scan, can't reveal those roaches. He can just pop up, pick off the Thor, pop back down, and regenerate that health.
And the Thors choose a bad time to try to leave the base. They kind of get clumped up right here. The Roach is able to get a good concave and pretty much dominate this army. And we do see a third expansion for Nox, so he is in complete control of this game, and it's looking pretty bad for RippnTerran.
So then, I mean, I'm really not. I was getting the Raven out. That's always a smart choice when your command center can't land. You need that scan. And it looks like the Roaches are just going to chill, hide in the back of the base. But I'm not really sure what more he can do. With 13 Mutalisks on the way from Nox, he should just be able to come in here and clean this out, be able to pick off that 1-2 Vikings and the Banshees, several Marines. But, you know, I guess, what would you have liked to see from RippnTerran? Have done better maybe after that first push, maybe sent the expansion down a little earlier?
I think had he been able to get that expansion up. Oh, and here these Roaches burrowing, even though the Raven's there, and so a couple of them getting picked off without being able to fight back. But I think that if RippnTerran had put that expansion down earlier, when he lost after that initial push, he could have came back, could have gotten a few more production buildings. You know, he's only operating off 1 factory and 2 barracks this whole game essentially. So he would have had a chance if he'd been able to come back, have a couple factories or a couple starports, dedicate himself to a one build or another, and start producing units with the resources he would have had he had that expansion earlier.
Yeah, and I would have also liked to see him maybe hold off until he had around 3 tanks to make that push. Maybe make an initial push, just kind of poke in the front, keep Nox on his toes. Then he's got 2 or 3 tanks. He can just I really like 3. You can just siege those up, pick off the spine crawler, sit your units in front of it, and then let them come to you. I would have liked to see that happen, although, I mean, I'm very impressed Nox was able to hold that off, and he went burrowed Roach Muta, which is not something you see too often. Normally, you'll see Ling Muta or Baneling Muta, which he did kind of start to do, but then he transitioned with the Roaches, and I really like that. That burrow in there was really clever, and it let him do a lot of damage.
Yeah, I definitely agree that in RippnTerran's initial push, he should have waited for all 3, or at least 2, if not 3 tanks. As being able to post up right outside this base, he could have used that range to pick off those spine crawlers, and then when the Roaches and the Queens and the Zerglings decided to move out to protect the spine crawlers, they would have gotten blasted by 3 tanks with that splash damage rather than just 1 tank, and they were able to get a pretty good snipe on that tank without him doing too much damage. So using those tanks together would have been mutually backing each other up would have been a lot better.
And I just would like to mention about Nox's play. He did win, played well, made some very clever strategic choices, which I liked, attacked and expanded, which is always great. And the gas issue, I guess. At the beginning, he just had a ton of gas. It eventually worked out for him because he cranked out a ton of mutas. I'm not sure if that was his strategy all along. If so, good job defending the push until you could get those mutas out. But if not, I really would like to see that gas taken at a slower rate, get the economy up a little more with the minerals, maybe get some more Zerglings. He really didn't have a lot of Zerglings. He just threw down those spine crawlers for initial defense. So I guess my advice to that would be gas a little bit slower or use it quicker. Maybe get the mutas out faster.
Alright, and that concludes this game. As always, hope you guys enjoyed it. Keep getting better. And don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you at our next cast. Don't forget to email us also. Bye, guys.